when it comes to applying for a visitor visa, and what we're talking about here is a subclass 600. Firstly, there's different streams that you can apply for, and I'm drawing this, or I'm describing this in the context of people that are in relationships with Australians, permanent residents or citizens. And the plan, the objective, is to get them into Australia with the view of then applying for the onshore partner visa and then staying onshore, waiting for that visa to be approved on their bridging visa A that has, work rights, Medicare, and study and travel. Can travel, as in, we're able to kind of go back home for a little period and come back whilst they're waiting for the onshore partner visa. So I'll cut out some of that text, but it says work, Medicare, study, and travel. So whenever we are preparing visitor visas in this scenario, whether or not the couple are married, or whether or not the couple are engaged, or whether or not they're just in a de facto relationship, we are applying under the general tourist stream. We are not applying under the family sponsored stream. And, unless it's more relevant, which typically it isn't, we're not applying under the business visitor stream. We're applying under the general tourist stream. And what we're saying to the government is, let me put this on. We're saying that we're applying for this visitor visa because we want to come onshore, the applicant wants to come onshore and apply for an onshore partner visa. And there's certain documents you want to give the department, the government, with this type of application. Firstly, you want to give them your relationship evidence. So I would say that if this is 100% of your documentation, probably about 80% is your relationship evidence. It's proving that this person is in a relationship with an Australian. Now this could be, look, as visa users, you have the list. It's like a mini partner visa. So when we're preparing this visitor visa application for clients, we're giving clients Veazy, of course, and they're working through the checklist. They're giving us all their relationship evidence. And basically we're collating all their relationship evidence now. And we're using all that documentation and submitting a visitor visa using that relationship evidence. But that's not everything, but certainly the majority. 80%, I would say, of the documentation and information we're giving them is the relationship evidence. Okay, so love heart. The other, let's say 5%, is proof that if the person comes in on the visitor visa and then for whatever reason the relationship ends, or there's a breakdown, or the plan changes and they do not go to apply for the onshore partner visa, that they have reasons to return home. Okay, so this is where we start to try to find the balance between saying they're not coming in here on a temporary basis, but at the same time, if something happens, they have reasons to return home. And that's trying to satisfy the GTE requirement, the genuine temporary entrant requirement, which is the core requirement of a visitor visa. So you're trying to be kind of calculated here and strategic, because on the one hand, you're saying, well, they're not coming in to stay temporarily. But on the other hand, you're saying, well, if they do come in and apply for an onshore partner visa, here's why they're going to go back though. And this is proving they have links to their home country. So that could be evidence of property ownership. It could be a return flight home, which is probably a big one. Return flight. I would always recommend a fully flexible fare, because the plan isn't to actually return home, but you just want that as an option. You want to show the government, here's our relationship evidence, here's our plan, but if something goes wrong, here's the return flight that person will leave the country if required. Links to the home country, so you show kind of family composition. So I'd say like a family tree that shows everyone that's overseas and everyone who's in Australia, and the majority of their family typically will be those overseas. If they have, if they enroll to study, if they have work. So you want to give them some documents that show that the visa applicant, the visitor visa applicant, has links to their home country and reasons to return home if plan A doesn't eventuate, which is to apply for the onshore partner visa. If I were to emphasize the important ones, I would say fully flexible return airfare back, and possibly, a family tree diagram showing that, yes, they're coming with their Australian partner, but everybody else is back home. The other remaining, let's say, 15%, sorry to use awkward percentages, but is made up of 2 documents. The first is a cover letter. And the purpose of the cover letter is to outline the plan. And the plan is for the visitor visa applicant to come on shore and apply for an onshore partner visa with their Australian partner. Here's all the relationship evidence. If that plan doesn't work, plan B becomes they're going to leave the country, and here's all the proof that they're going to return home. That's what the cover letter does. It serves to summarize the application and what the intentions are of the visitor visa applicant. And the other main document is the invitation letter, written by the Australian partner, and the invitation letter serves to confirm what is mentioned in the cover letter, but it's signed by the Australian partner, permanent resident or citizen. And in this invitation letter, it also specifically says, I will make sure that my partner who's coming in on a visitor visa will not work. Okay, so you address that concern. They're not going to work whilst they're here on the visitor visa. And if plan A, for whatever reason, doesn't eventuate, I will make sure that they will not overstay. Because those are the 2 things they're concerned about when it comes to granting any visitor visa. They're concerned about people coming in and working illegally on a visitor visa which has no work rights, and they're concerned about someone overstaying, as in becoming unlawful. So this is an overview of how we prepare visitor visa applications for partners of Australians, for couples that are separated or for couples that live overseas. Unless there is a plan to be together overseas for the next 12 months or more, we would typically recommend this as the first strategy. Try to get them onshore on a visitor visa first, because if it works, it opens up the door to an onshore application, which has a lot of benefits. And also we recommend that understanding, what we've looked at as the processing averages for a visitor visa based on the published averages. They're saying that 75% of cases are processed in 3 months. So it's strategic. You're saying, okay, I'm willing to give this a go. I'm willing to invest 3 months of our time to get this visitor visa decided, because if it's granted, okay, we know that we can come in, or my partner can be back with me here in Australia, and then we're going to apply for an onshore partner visa. Or if it doesn't work, well, then we revert to an offshore partner visa of some kind, whether that's a prospective marriage visa or a 309, depending on your relationship facts. And what we've lost is time. We've lost the 3 months where, had we not applied for this visitor visa, we could have just applied directly for the PNV or the 309, had that assessed sooner. But when you compare the processing averages for a PNV or a 309, you're looking at well more than 12 months. So it's a bit of a calculated gamble. The upside is large, the downside is loss of time if it's refused.